It may be early in the morning, but there's big smiles on the boys' faces today because the Chicago Cubs snapped the Milwaukee Brewers' 9-game winning streak in a game that we said was must win, and the Cubs got it done. Justin Steele, fantastic. Lucas Giolito no longer on the Angels. It's a mess over in Anaheim. We'll get into all this on the Cubs baseball channel today. First things first, go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, and join the channel. All right, so let's start off with the fact that the Cubbies just snapped Milwaukee's 9-game winning streak. Apparently, the Brewers are beatable. The unfortunate thing is, apparently, the only way to beat them is to shut them out. Cubs take it 1-0, Mick.
Yeah, look, this is just a huge win for the Cubs, and you knew that it was probably going to take a game like this for the Cubs to end the Brewers streak. They've been playing their best baseball. They've been so hot, but in baseball, streaks come and go based off of starting pitching. And this was one of the best pitching matchups of the year, but Justin Steele led the way. I think we're going to get into what this game, the significance of it for the Cubs, but it took a really great effort for the Cubs to win this game. They scored a run in the bottom of the first, and then from that point on, it was just an old school pitching duel.
Took a few things. It took Christian Yelich being erased on the base pass in the 8th inning by a nice play from Yan Gomes behind the plate when Yelich was trying to steal and potentially start a little rally. Then late in the game, Willy Adames thought he may have gotten a homer, and on a windy day in the Windy City, that one may have been in the bleachers. Instead, just flies out to the warning track and the Cubs hold on. But let's start it off with the old school pitchers duel, like old times. Second time in the majors this season that both starters threw 108 pitches. That's kind of wild to think about. You would have thought 5, 6, 7, 8. No, just 2 times this year that has happened.
Yeah, the funny thing is you talk about the wind, and it kind of reminds me of a story that Billy Williams told me once, about him playing left field and a no-hitter, and it was the first inning, and Hank Aaron hit what would have been a home run, and he goes back into the well and makes the catch, and that turns out to be, a big play in the game. They didn't get any hits on a day like this, right? So in Chicago, when the wind's blowing in, it's a different game than when the wind's blowing out, which we always knew. But what's crazy to me is going back to Billy Williams all the way up until, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, pitchers routinely threw 108 pitches in a start. It's crazy. And I heard them talking about this on the marquee broadcast, and I'm going, no, there's no chance that it's only the second time this year that a pitcher has thrown 108 pitches. I mean, that's crazy to me, but that's where the state of the game is right now. Starting pitching, it's not as relied upon as it used to be. They bring in the bullpen really early. They develop the starters to throw, 5 innings, 6 innings in the Cubs system. But you know what? Today just kind of felt like an old school game. I love a 1-0 final. And so, yesterday, I just thought it was a great game. I just can't believe that at this point that it's only the second time, we're almost through the season, that starters threw 108 pitches in a duel.
What you call the old good one. Now, was it the second time in the majors this season involving the Cubs, or are you talking every single ball club throughout? Because I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, every team. So think about that.
Jeez. Yeah, that's nuts, man. Justin Steele did his part. We were talking with Lawrence Holmes the other day, and Lawrence was saying, I think Justin Steele's going to finish in the top 10, maybe in the top 5 of the Cy Young. I said, give me those plus 120 odds. He's finishing in the top 3. I mean, he may as well go out and win the damn thing at this point. Splendid start, 6 innings, 6 hits, no runs, another quality start. I don't have the splits up right now. Sam, who's in the back producing, if you want to get those up on what he's done in his last 10 games, how many quality starts he's been out there, you could pop in at the end of the show and let us know with some of the stats there. But he's got the just 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. The record's up to 15-3. I mean, the Cubs are winning games when he takes the hill, and it's why we said this was a must-win game. It wasn't – I mean, it mainly was because of the situation in order to win this series against the Brewers and really stay within 4 or 5 games entering the month of September. You had to win tonight's game. But the bigger thing was you have Justin Steele on the mound. If you can't beat the Brewers when your horse is on the hill, then when can you beat the Brewers at this point? But he was great. The ERA is down to 2.69.
Yeah, look, this is one of the biggest games of the season. Everybody's paying attention to the Cubs and the Brewers today when they play the rubber match, but last night when Justin Steele was out there just wheeling and dealing, and it gets the Cubs back to within 4. They win this game today, they'll be within 3, but you can't ignore 15-3 record. He's tied for the league lead in wins, the earned run average at 2.69. But Corbin Burnes had a great game too. He pitched 7 innings and only gave up the run in the first. And by the way, Cody Bellinger, again, figuring out a way to get that man across the plate. I mean, you turn to your stars when you get into those type of games, right? But you can't ignore that Justin Steele has to be in the conversation. He's closing in on 20 wins. He's pitching for a team that is playing meaningful baseball every single game right now. Not only are they trying to track down Milwaukee, but they're also trying to maintain a spot in the playoffs as far as the wild card goes. This was the biggest game. The Brewers had won 9 straight, and he came in, set the tone. He even got hit in the leg by a line drive, and it didn't slow him down. So I think you're right. Look, when Lawrence said like 5 or 10, I was thinking like you, like, don't count this guy out.
I mean, he had top 5 odds. I haven't looked it up, and I can check it out on DraftKings at some point when you get into one of your tangents. But he was at plus 500, tied third, I believe, with last time we checked, and it was a few weeks ago. It was Zach Gallen was up there, and I can't even remember who it was, but I think he was tied third in the National League to win that award. So it is wild with what he has done lately. Sam, I see you backstage right now. Do you have a thumbs up on those quality starts, or have you not had a chance to look that up? Give me the thumbs down if you don't have it. All good either way. Thumbs down from Sam. It's all good. Let's move on to the Angels and Lucas Giolito. And the reason I bring this up on the show is because it's a confusing situation. But Giolito was traded from the White Sox to the Angels for a king's ransom. We're talking the Angels went all in. They kept Shohei Ohtani when they could have really, really replenished their farm system and had one of the best in baseball, gotten a king's ransom back. They say, no, we're all in. We're in it with Ohtani. We're in it to win it. Mike Trout's not healthy, obviously, and the Angels have lost just about every game, it feels like. They're out of the mix. They get rid of Lucas Giolito, who they had to get rid of 2 really good prospects to get Giolito for. They drop him to the waivers, and at this point, he's available to be picked up. Jameson Taillon at this point and the Drew Smyly combo, when you look at those two, they are not good enough to get it done come October. I truly believe that. I don't give a lot of takes on this show. If you want to be a World Series caliber team, both of those guys are heading to the bullpen. And you probably need another starting arm just in case someone does get hurt, or you just need a starting arm regardless. Could Lucas Giolito be a realistic option, or are we wasting our time?
Well, I mean, look, you're right. The Angels, a lot of bad moves. I mean, and how ironic is it that the Cubs and the Angels, the Tuesday, and I've said this a lot, the Tuesday before the trade deadline had almost identical odds at, what was it, like 15.6%, 15.7%. It might have been 12.6 and 12.7. I mean, it was so low. And the Angels went all in. They traded Kai Busch, who is a future starter and their number 2 overall prospect, and Edgar Caro, who is their number 3 overall prospect, a catcher that was catching every day and can hit, to the White Sox to get Giolito and a reliever. And now Giolito is just thrown out. And basically the way that this works, and I got to explain this because it really is hard to understand. These guys are eligible as long as they're on the roster before September 1st to play in the postseason, which makes them really valuable. And there's other guys besides Giolito, but I would say that for the, obviously picking up the salary, if you're the Cubs, I'm sure the Ricketts would do it. The problem is the team with the worst record has the opportunity to go out and make a deal. So you got to get lucky. You got to hope that maybe he slides to you. But I don't think it's unrealistic that if he was there somehow, that he slid all the way back to the Cubs, or maybe a Matt Moore or someone else that they got rid of, that you wouldn't say, hey, look, let's throw the money out. So the Angels are giving away players for $50,000. That's the waiver fee and salary relief, right? And again, the team with the worst record has the first shot at being awarded to players. So you got to wait through all of those teams that are below you. But part of that is if you're not in the playoff mix, then, why would you do it, right? And then some of the smaller market teams might not have the money to do it. And then again, I'm going to say it again. If you get one of these guys and they're on your roster before September 1st, obviously they can play in the postseason, and I just said that. But what could it happen? I don't know. Could the Cubs add in general? Well, I mean, look, if the right opportunity came up, I'm sure they could reach deep down in their pockets and they would do it. I really do believe that. You don't want to give away your farm system for a Giolito, but if it was just money, that you can find that and it's not going to hurt you long term. So I'm excited. I mean, we'll see what happens, but you got to remember too, all the other teams in baseball, everybody could use a starter, right? So we'll know a lot as things progress as far as where Giolito and the rest of the Angels that have just been dumped. And I guess when Ohtani's arm went out, they're just like, hey, this couldn't have gone any worse. I mean, the Angels are a train wreck right now. And I'm just curious to see where all these guys go. But I think the Cubs should add if they get the opportunity.
All right. I have a loaded answer here with a lot of things. I'm looking at the banner right there. Mick, you got to fix the typos, big guy. You are a wonderful broadcaster. You are an abundance of knowledge. You're an encyclopedia when it comes to the game. But I mean, good Lord, Mick, Cubs A player. What are we talking about here? So anyways, let's go with Justin Steele's. What's that?
It's supposed to say ad.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Hold on. Just so that when I'm attacked in the comment section. Hey, boom. Cubs ad player. I'm going to tell you, look, let me go ahead and tell you what happened. I do a beer review show. Okay. You know this. Well, while I was doing a beer review show, one of the beers that I was reviewing, when I opened the can, it exploded. So now my keys stick. So that's what. No, I'm being serious. That's why it's hard for I'll type and stuff.
You're
just doesn't work.
To too many comments. That's what's going on. You're responding to every single comment, which we love, by the way.
I use my phone. I'm responding to you guys, so make sure that you you keep commenting, and we love all you guys. Honestly, whether you're a Brewers fan or a Cubs fan, or you can't stand us or you love us, be in there in that message board. Let's have fun with it. I'm going to take myself not very seriously. I mean, I'm going to do my best to try to educate and entertain, but I'm learning at the same time. And I just honestly, man, this channel has been so much fun, and it's because of you guys. So sorry about the 2 Ds missing.
Oh, you're good. It's just proofread the banners moving forward. Sometimes if you do that on a live broadcast, it isn't YouTube. No one cares. But if you do it on a live broadcast, you could say the wrong thing, and the difference of a letter can get you canceled.
All right. Well, look, you called out. Well, let me say this before we talk about today's game. You called out Sam. You're calling everyone out today. He's got the starts pulled up for you. So Sam, what you do is
pop in here, Sam. Pop in here, baby.
Go to the word present down at the bottom and screen share, and then throw those up for Charles so he can tell everyone about it.
Well, I was looking right now, Mick, and I see that it's now 3 straight quality starts for Justin Steele. The last time that he gave up more than 3 runs in an outing, and not every single one's been quality because he's been going 5 a lot of these games, but the last time he's given up more than 3 runs, you got to go back to May 26th. And that is why he is in the top 5 in Cy Young voting right now in the National League. It's Blake Snell at plus 110, Spencer Strider at plus 160. He's second. Zach Gallen at plus 280. He's third. And then it's Justin Steele at plus 1,700. He's fourth right now. So there's a good chance he finishes in the top 3. And if he pitches like he did tonight, the rest of the season, he'll get 5 more starts. Then I don't see any reason why he can't win the Cy Young. And then Corbin Burnes is 6th right now at plus 5,000. So the fact that we saw 4th in the Cy Young and 6th in the Cy Young duel tonight at Wrigley Field, that was pretty special stuff. Now, I see that his starts are up on the screen, Mick. I don't have my monocle on. I can't read that whatsoever. But if the people can, good stuff. And if they can't, regardless. Oh, we got the zoom in. Yeah, so you see some of his starts. Look at those earned runs. The last time that he's given up more than 3. You got to go back to a Tuesday on May 16th. It's been a while. So he's been consistent. And what that tells me is that every time he goes out there, the Cubs have a good chance to win. And that is why he is 15-3 on the season. He's been incredible, man. Incredible.
Yeah, it really has been unbelievable to see what he's done. I mean, he struggled with injuries when he was coming up through the system, and as he's gotten older, he's just gotten stronger. But he's always had it mentally. He used to sit in the press box with us, and we would talk about the game. And you know me, Chuck, I love to just sit there and analyze every little detail of a game, whether it's the way that someone plays defense, whether it's the way that someone's pitching or how they approach their at bat or just all that stuff. And Justin Steele's really similar. Hey, this is what I'm looking at here, or this is what I see. And he was on some bad minor league teams. And now he's gotten to the big leagues, and I think he's right on the doorstep of a Cy Young. With that said, there's still more work to be done.
Yes, and the Cubs have some workhorses potentially coming back. Michael Fulmer progressing. He's going to start throwing. September 8th, he's eligible to come off the IL. Will he? That's the question. And then Marcus Stroman. I mean, it's somewhat of an update. He's cleared for light physical activity. That's a start to him potentially returning this season. Do you see any path to Stroman taking the hill at any point in 2023?
I think it would be really something if he comes back this year. Very, very odd injury for him. And I don't necessarily think that we're going to see him pitch again.
Okay. Well, if they did somehow, that would be a hell of a spark entering the last month and few weeks of the season, but we'll keep an eye on that. Rubber match today at Wrigley. Guess who's heading down to the ball game? Hey, if you see a man running around with a big 6-foot beer bat, they don't sell any of the 6-foot ones, but a 2-foot beer bat running around. I'm going to have myself a few margaritas, a few hot dogs, create my own dog at the ball game. So if you see me, come up to me, Chuck, what's going on, man? It's good to see you. But it's a 1:20 game at Wrigley Field. I'll be riding the bike there, the e-bike, ringing the bell. And on the mound, another good one. It's Brandon Woodruff, 3-1, 2.65 ERA. Stellar this season, but he's been hurt a lot of the year. He's back. He's healthy. He's pitching great. Kyle Hendricks, 5-7, a 3.80. What do you see in this matchup?
First thing I see is that if someone comes up to you and they saw you on this show, right, later today, they see you, you have to buy them a beer if they're of age and they drink a beer, and take a picture with you drinking a beer. Is that fair?
That's very fair, because I honestly, I've worked in local TV for about a decade. I don't think I've been recognized once. And I'm sure that people, at the grocery store or whatever, I know that guy. I'm just not going to go up to him and ask. Right. Yeah. But I mean, literally no one has ever stopped me and been like, are you that guy on TV? And I was on a billboard across the street from a Shoney's. I ate at Shoney's every single day, just waiting for someone like Drama in Five Towns to point me out and be like, it's the guy. No one ever did. No one's recognized me. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be at the ballpark today in my shades, eating hot dogs and double fisting beverages. No one's going to come up to me. If you do, yes, ding, 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 you get a free drink, but it's only, at this point, the money's not raking in yet on the Cubs baseball channel. Maybe soon. That's why you like, subscribe, and comment to help us out. But I will buy that one lucky person a beer if they do recognize me. So should be a really good one today, Woodruff and Hendricks. I'm excited, man. It's just season ends today. Cubs are in the playoffs. Cubs win today. They're 3 games back of the Milwaukee Brewers and right back in the thick of things. This rubber match is as big as it gets.
Yeah, look, I mean, and just throw the beer on your credit card and pay for it later. When the Cubs baseball channel is huge and you're not worried about that $11 or whatever.
But what about that, Nick? That's a $16 beverage.
Do it. This is a big game though today. Kyle Hendricks has pitched in a ton of big games. over the years. I think he's been struggling a little bit with his command and control at times, but he's such a battler that he's been able to work around it. I'm hoping that he has one of those games where very early that he's getting the cut on his pitches and he's hitting his locations and he's keeping the Brewers off balance. And he's had some success against Milwaukee over the years. Today would be a great day to continue that. And then Brandon Woodruff he's a great pitcher. He really is. He's another guy that the Brewers developed through their farm system, got to the big leagues, and this is another marquee matchup on the mound. And the game today could be very similar to what we saw yesterday, where one run wins the game. The Cubs had the bases loaded. The Brewers made so many great defensive plays in the game to keep themselves in it. And the Cubs made a bunch of great defensive plays. That's what baseball's supposed to be like. Great pitching, excellent defense, and, in a timely play here or there. But if the Cubs win today, it's such a swing game. You're back to within 3. You still have a pennant race. If they in the East, if they lose, all of a sudden it's like, well, you're 5 back and you're really focused on trying to just take care of business and get in as a wild card. So it would be a lot more interesting if the Cubs could win and keep this thing going.
All right, errors and omissions. Only one error from Mick aside from the banner. You said East. I know you meant the Central, obviously.
Oh, I meant the Central. Thank you.
Hey, that's what happens 22 minutes into the show. Sometimes you make a little flub. It happens here and there. No one could say it in the comment because your boys got your back. That's what we do on the Cubs baseball channel. We have each other's back. And speaking of having each other's back, let's salute our guy right here, Sam Valenti. Hop in, Sam. Hop in, baby. Hop in the studio. Come on, Sam. We're not into the show until you hop in. There he is. That's the man that makes the thumbnails. So whenever you see those pictures and you're like, who are these guys that put out these hysterical thumbnails? We hope they're funny. Of Jordan Belfort saying, we're not leaving. It's this guy right here, Sam Valenti, sophomore at Arizona State. He's a Sun Devil, huge Cubs fan. We're going to give you the mic for 10 seconds, Sam. This is it, your big debut of the Cubs baseball channel. What do you have to say?
All right. Well, hey, it was a big win yesterday. Let's hope the Cubs can take the lead in this series. Let's hope that the professor can go out on the mound and take the Brewers to school. Go Cubs, go, baby. Let's go.
Good stuff, Sam. All right. For Mick Gillispie, Chuck Walter, the entire gang, thanks for tuning in. Again, like, subscribe, comment, and check out our video from yesterday with Lawrence Holmes. It's not dated. We just talked big picture Cubs stuff and could the White Sox potentially leave the city of Chicago? So that's a good interview to check out as well. And really just go through the timeline. Check out with David Kaplan, with Ron Coomer. We try not to date any of our interviews, just these little pregame shows. So for Mick Gillispie, Sam Valenti, Chuck Walter saying, have a great day. Go Cubs. See you at Wrigley Field. I'll buy you that beer.
Go Cubs.